All right. Hope everybody enjoyed the Super Bowl. I certainly did. It made me a little bit late. I'm Dr. Frank Cato with the Get Fit and Be Lean program that I used to lose over 20% of my body weight in 2021. And this is one of my weekly multi platform live streams. Concerning the weight loss program that I used to lose over 20% of my body weight. So I hope if you guys have any questions, you'll try to submit those. And I welcome you, even if you don't want to have a discussion and have any questions, you would hopefully at least gain a little bit of information. Sleep. How important is it to weight loss? Well, it turns out that sleep is so important to weight loss that if you intervene, just making it possible for people to get better sleep without any exercise, without any kind of intervention, you will actually see a decrease in their weight. And there's a lot of indication that people who did I bet today? No, I did not. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Yes, they did. All right. Thank you very much, all of my very active TikTok viewers. Already hundreds of people in the room. Thank you so much. So, sleep hygiene. What do we mean by sleep hygiene? What we mean is how to achieve the best, longest, and most restful sleeps. And there are a number of different, very well researched parameters that we can use to increase our sleep. I've been talking about one several times this week, which is light. One is getting light in your face first thing in the morning, full sunlight, and as much as you can throughout the day. I know a lot of us work in situations where we're surrounded by fluorescent lights, or maybe we don't have great lighting. But if you can get the sun in your face first thing in the morning, it will help to establish a diurnal rhythm of your hormonal milieu so that you can be awake when you're awake and be asleep when you're asleep. What's another one? Well, it turns out that light is not only important in the daytime in signaling us to be awake, it's also important at night. And if you have a lot of artificial lighting in your bedroom, which stays on while you're trying to sleep, you will find that generally your sleep will be less effective and less restful. So, the first thing I ask patients who complain about their sleep is, do you have a television in your bedroom? Well, of course, now everybody's got screens in their bedroom. And the way to eliminate that is just use your bed solely for sleeping or sex and nothing else. That way, when you get into bed at your bedtime, hopefully you have a bedtime, you will be signaling your body. This is a part of triggering those hormonal responses that help keep us restfully sleeping. All right. So thank you very much, Trust. Thank you, Fierce. Good to have you here, Faze. Welcome, everybody. All right. Well, it looks like my Twitter Live has already bit the dust. And luckily, Twitter is not a terribly good space for live. So caffeine, you see me have coffee talks with the doc. You will see me partake of caffeine live on the internet. So what's the story with caffeine? Caffeine is a stimulant. There is no doubt that it has an impact on your sleep patterns. How do you minimize that disruption? You limit the amount of caffeine that you drink after about 12 noon. Now, of course, if you're a swing shift person, all of these numbers are different. But if you can get out before the sun sets, get the sun full in your face before your night of work, it's likely to help you. So no caffeine after 12 noon. no lights in your bedroom at all. You really should try to have even an alarm clock. You don't want it to have a self-illuminating light. And then you want to, as I said, you don't want to read in bed. If you're going to read, get up and read in a chair, read in another room, so that when you get into bed, you are already signaling your body. Meditation can help us to learn how to quiet our mind, and a quiet mind is one of those kind of prerequisites to get a good night's sleep. Physical activity plays a huge role in your ability to sleep. Luckily, the Get Fit and Be Lean program is all about physical activity, exercise, calisthenics, walking. I'm going to show some videos later on in my TikTok channels that show me out hiking. I hiked 4 miles today. I hiked 4 miles yesterday, gained 700 or 800 feet of elevation yesterday on the hike. These kind of activities can make it so much easier for your body to rest when it's resting, and for you to gain the benefit of a good night's sleep, which is going to translate to the benefit in weight loss. Welcome, Kiki. Welcome, Charles. Thanks so much for all the likes. Wow, lots of likes, some shares. Thank you so much. Really helps to push the live out to the audience that I'm trying to reach, which is really almost anybody. Although, of course, if you've got multiple medical illnesses that have multisyllabic descriptions, you're going to want to have your own doctor that you have a good ongoing regular relationship with, who is helping you to lose weight, helping you with sleeping issues. They have whole sleep centers that do sleep studies. It's its own science. So you want to avail yourself of that if you've already taken those steps, because they're going to ask you this stuff when you first come in. They're going to ask you, do you have a television in your room? Do you take your screens on your devices in your room? And if the answer is yes, their first recommendation, and before they talk about any kind of melatonin or any other drugs, they're going to talk about getting those optical stimulants out of your room, getting those stimulants of caffeine out of your system in order to get a good night's sleep. And a good night's sleep will translate into, according to research, fewer calories. When people are on swing shift, they tend to partake of larger amount of calories, more snack foods that tend to be a higher calorie density. All right, go Irish. Normal to sleep 4 hours, then wake up for a bit, then sleep for another 3 hours. I would not say that is the typical sleep pattern. And for many people, if they do that, they don't go back to restful sleep afterwards. This was kind of some stuff that was described as the wee hours of the night. And that's when people used to get up and go and do stuff about the house or whatever. But I think if you can get yourself a good 6, 7, and maybe even 8 hours of continuous sleep at nighttime, you're going to find yourself more rested. You're going to find yourself more able to pursue the activities that you want to without worrying about distraction. Lucky to get 5 hours. Can't shut off your brain. Lots of weight gain. So lots of weight gain. So there's the correlation, and it's not surprising. Now, if you can't shut off your brain, there's a lot of different factors that can go into that. You can have problems, and if you don't resolve your problems, you're going to be thinking about them. But the ability to still the mind is kind of central to meditation. And so I really encourage people to pursue meditation. I'm not the greatest at it myself, but you start by sitting in a comfortable position, not laying down, and focusing on your breathing. There are tons of books about it by people who are far more expert at it than I will ever be. And you should probably avail yourself of those. But it doesn't take a rocket science. You don't have to be a guru to meditate, to get in a quiet space, to get, starting with just 5 or 10 minutes. Now, you're going to have thoughts when you are meditating, and if you're anything like me, your brain's tendency is to grab those thoughts and just choke them to death. And that's not the goal here. The goal is to kind of let those thoughts naturally just flow through your mind and expire without falling them down some rabbit hole into a fractal trail of all kinds of different scenarios and that kind of thing. All right. Welcome, Hughes Gale White. Thank you very much. Good to have everybody here. Still up in the double digits, so that's pretty good. And even getting some engagement on YouTube, which is very unusual on my multifactorial lives. Yeah, Ben Franklin, some other geniuses like Alexander Graham Bell, and those guys, slept 15 minutes. Thomas Edison, I think, never slept more than 15 minutes at a time. I'm not trying to train Thomas Edison's. I'm trying to get people to fit and lean. And to do that, the research is pretty clear that a good night's sleep will be of benefit to you. So fasting before bed, some people say that there can be blood sugar drops while you're sleeping that wake you up. And so I would recommend, if you have that problem of waking up at 4 a.m., you might try before you go to bed to eat a relatively high protein snack, a boiled egg, some hummus, something that's got some protein in it. And not too much, because you don't want it to be a major contributor to your calorie intake, but just enough to make sure that you don't have that blood sugar dip, which then activates cortisol and you get all kinds of disruption of your diurnal hormonal rhythm. Thank you very much, Go Irish, for the questions from YouTube. I don't usually get a lot of participation there. I'm hoping to build the platform on there. Most of my stuff comes, of course, from TikTok, where, all right, Roxy Moon, you are welcome for the advice. DR33, not really sure why you're saying you're welcome. So about the diet, Chaudhry's asking about Get Fit and Be Lean and how I lost 20% of my body weight in 2021. And it's a very simple, very limited number of rules and requirements. Okay, portion control and the 2 veggie goal. And I've done week-long series on these. You can go to my meals playlist, where you can see almost everything I ate for the whole year. You can look at my weigh-ins. You can look at my Twitter account, where I tweet out the articles that are the basis of the Get Fit and Be Lean program, which is peer-reviewed, published research in journals like the American Medical Association and New England Journal of Medicine. So hopefully you don't look for a quick fix. Hopefully you're not trying to just find the one individual solution, because there aren't any. All right, 333. Glad you're happy. All right. How much weight can you lose if you starve for 3.5 weeks? Don't do that. And I don't care how much weight you can lose that way. AZ Kevin, good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. Really big turnout today on TikTok. I really was worried following. I figured people still be watching stuff after the Super Bowl. But I do these weekly, and I also do regular, just briefer videos on individual topics that kind of follow up on the articles that I tweet out on a pretty much daily basis on different aspects of the Get Fit and Be Lean program. So I hope you guys continue to follow me. I hope you're doing some calisthenics, sit-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks. You don't have to buy any equipment. You don't need any enrollment, subscription, membership. You can start today. You can modify the exercises to your own abilities, and I encourage you to do so. Wearing a tie for the live. Yes, for my weekly lives, I do put on my shirt and tie. The rest of the time, there's no telling what I'll be wearing. Usually it's work clothes. How much weight will you be? Roadkill protein. Okay, that was your last chance. Thank you for joining, Pro Gamer. Good to have you here. Thank you, Chaudhry. I appreciate it. More than looking good, the Get Fit and Be Lean program is not about looking good. You want to look good, you're probably better off doing resistance weight training, and you'll see that kind of chiseled body. But for me, it was about my functionality. I fell out on a hike I was taking with my youngest kid and just couldn't do it. It was about 6 miles and less than I did on Sunday in less time, and much bigger elevation gain. So I've really kind of transformed my ability. I mean, I was getting short of breath just tying my own shoelaces, and couldn't fit into my clothes. And it was a pretty frustrating situation to be in. But my hope is that I'm going to continue to carry this program out, and it helps me to keep motivated to maintain portion control. Portion control is definitely where it starts with kitchen scales and just some measuring cups. Doesn't have to be eliminating foods or getting rid of all meat or any of that stuff, or just only eating meat. The 2 veggie rule: 2 veggies, raw or steamed vegetables with lunch, and 2 veggies with dinner. And what do I mean by veggies? Leafy green, grow above the ground. Okay. Most people, when I ask them, they can say, oh, lettuce. And then if I ask them for another vegetable, they'll say tomatoes. Well, tomatoes are a berry. They are a reproductive organ of the plant. They contain nutrients to help the plant reproduce. They contain the seeds. And then they'll say carrots. Carrots are a storage organ for the plant. They grow under the ground. They store starch. I'm talking about leafy green, grow above the ground. And if all you can ever come up with is spinach or lettuce, you're going to have a hard time getting 2 servings with lunch and 2 servings with dinner. So I would recommend that you expand your repertoire the way that I have now. I buy arugula. I never bought arugula before. I buy kale. I never bought kale before. And I've just looked for some recipes that I can use. I've put a couple on my different platforms. I would encourage you to look for those. And I want to make those available to people who email me. So I do sometimes try to put that email account out. So the cups per meal, I don't really get too heavily into portion control when it comes to leafy green vegetables. You're not going to eat too much. And if you have 2 servings, you're probably not going to get too little. So I don't get too really obsessed. You won't see me counting calories. You don't see me counting macros. You don't see me really getting in the weeds with the numbers, because I'm not going to sustain that. And this is not going to be a successful program if you're trying to do, hot girl summer or 2 weeks to bikini body or whatever you want to pick. I'm interested in lifetime nutrition, lifetime physical activity, lifetime improvement in my health and well-being. So, wow, big night. Can SVT caused by being struck by lightning? SVT can be caused by absolutely nothing. You can have nothing happen to you and you can go into SVT. And it's really interesting because people that do it and they don't go to a doctor, they discover all these different ways of stopping their SVT, like firing a shotgun with the gun against their chest or jumping off of a ladder. And there's actually a whole collection of injury reports that are a result of people doing stuff to themselves, trying to stop their SVT. Protein, I recommend eating before bed. What's the timing? Oh, I wouldn't eat anything within an hour before bed just because of the way my stomach feels. So I think that would be fine if you do it about an hour before you go to bed. All right, X Hustle, thank you very much. Good to have everybody here. Really nice to have a big turnout, and really great to have some engagement on YouTube. And I apologize if you're on Instagram and trying to send me messages. I got the front facing camera. I'll try to do the rear facing camera next time. And as far as Twitter Spaces, that bailed out. I don't know what happened to that. Dumped me. Please subscribe to my channel. Please follow my account. Please, share it with other people if you think they might benefit. And please send me your questions. You can really put them on almost any video, and I will eventually get to them. So thank you so much for coming to the live. And it's been great to have everybody here.